The next morning came with a lot of preparations. All the armed men loaded their weapon and were ready to call off their officer who was guarding the place where Dan was hiding. Taehyung was the one of their friend. He was keeping an eye on Dan, wearing a casual. He was buying fruits from the market in front of his house when a blast was sounded just behind him and everything went black. Everyone was indoors when they drove toward the blast location. Jungkook was talking to their head on the walkie-talkie. He was thinking hard about the situation when a realization crossed his head. "Give me the map." Jiho hurriedly opened the map and spread it in front of Jungkook. Jungkook looked at it for a while and then ordered, "Turn the jeep toward that east bank of the river." He's escaping. It was a distraction. They all complained, but Jiho looked worried. He called Jungkook, but Jungkook knew all along what he wanted to say to him. "Jiho, our love for our country is stronger than anything else in this world. You go and check the blast location. Take Namjoon with yourself." Jiho and Namjoon left the jeep and were about to leave in the other jeep when Jungkook called him again. Jiho toward him. "Look for him. They live in the same place." Namjoon and Jiho nodded and drove for there. True, to his word, Dan was hiding toward the east bank of the river, inside a cottage, successfully distracting them with a blast. But what he didn't know was that Major John Jungkook is blessed with a vision of Hong. He surrounded that worn-out cottage. Jungkook led the soldier toward the cottage, with steady steps, on the other hand, calmly creeping that barrier of the horrific black G3P4, while the other signaling that other behind him, near the gate of the cottage. Jungkook rested his back against the wall and signed out of his men to break the door. Take a deep breath. He placed his index finger on that trigger, muttering a quick prayer under his breath. He exhaled. The soldier raised his leg and, keeping the door open, just as the door flew open, Jungkook along with the man inside. Gunshot fired and smoke blew. The whole cottage in a matter of seconds turned to ashes. It was 20 minutes that the whole operation was completed successfully. The medical team were arrived and now treating that injured soldier. Taekook should be there in a daze, thinking hard about something. "Major," a voice called, and they broke their trust. He turned toward the source. There stood a boy in a white, holding a first aid box. He looked afraid of Jungkook. Not his fault. He kind of looked scary at first, with the dark eyes, black hair falling on his forehead, not to forget that look that gave everyone. "Major, we have to treat your wound," he said, bringing his attention toward his bleeding arm. Shaking his head, he rushed over there, making that young boy form. "Why are not you rescuing them?" Namjoon roared, or MTS, rushed out there of their home. The boy shook his head at that question. "Sir, we bought every outside. They were not left behind." Jiho groaned, and Namjoon held his hand in his head, signed disappointedly. "The boy lives in the same house. He is nowhere to be found," Jiho said, with a reason that they again denied finding someone like him. There was everywhere. Many people died due to that blast, and many lost their houses. Namjoon and Jiho were worse to snapping their head, as that didn't cooperate with them. Namjoon couldn't control himself and ran inside that lawn, away from the farmhouse where their supposed brother-in-law lived. Jiho was about to follow him when the familiar jeep were parking, and an extremely worried Jungkook walked out of it hurriedly. Jungkook looked at him and then at the wrecked house. A heart was flinching, feeling raised in his heart, him restless. Jiho was about to pour his hat, not able to answer his boss. His eyes held sorrow for his boss who was once his life, but seemed happy. A worried look, and Namjoon ran out of that rigged, breathing hard. Jiho ran toward him and patted his back, whereas Jungkook kept looking at him. His face was messy, with ash and red. Everything was on fire inside. He spoke loudly, looking at Jungkook, who, without any thought, ran inside the house. The shout and rag went about to blow up and fell on the deaf ear. Jungkook rolled his sleeves and coughed as the smoke was surrounding him. Taehyung, he shouted on the top of his lung, but got no response. Taehyung, where are you? This time, he heard a whimper as he neared by a broken door. With a great strength, he removed the door for him, and they looked up at him with their terrified eyes full with the tears. Without wasting any minute, he hid up his arm and they clung his body like a small baby and sobbed, making his heart ache. They ran to find a way out that wrecked house, but found it blocked with fire. They cried, and he begged at they to find him the unconscious. Jungkook had encountered many risky moments when his life was stake, but he never lost his calm. The situation right now, with his love of his life were unconscious in his harm and no place to accept a house on fire. He was scared. Major John Jungkook was scared for the first time, and that too, for him, for his life. He ran here and there to find a way out of the smoky grill, and all the park was blocked with dead flames. He found a puddle of water on the ground along with some wooden plank lying there. Coughing, he lied there down on the ground. He leaned back and unbuttoned his uniform shirt. Taking the shirt off, he dumped it in the water after placing it on the sweat running down for his forehead as he rubbed the waist. Taehyung, wake up, little boy. This boy needs your sweet little smile, he whispered tiredly as he gazed at him now, his pale face. I need you. That's when the whole house were burst in flames, making him exhale a shaky breath and interlocking their fingers together.